Hi guys, welcome back. Today I have for you a dupe comparison video and I'm so excited about this because this is long overdue. So I'm going to be comparing the new e.l.f. Well, actually this isn't new. It's new to me. It's been sold out and I was finally able to get my hands on it. That's why this video took so long. But anyways, so I have here the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer and we are going to be comparing it to the TATCHA Silk Canvas Primer, which is my love. I first discovered the TATCHA primer last March and I've been obsessed with it ever since. I know this product is very expensive, but I will vouch for it and say that it lasts forever, and I'm very heavy-handed. I use way more than what is recommended and I still have so much product left. As you can see, like I haven't even made a dent in it, which is crazy because I use this so much. But I love the TATCHA primer. It makes my makeup last longer. It works really well with my combo skin. My skin is nice and smooth and soft whenever I apply my foundation over top. Using this primer is just a lifesaver, and this primer works with every foundation that I have used. Now the e.l.f. one is really great because it's only $8, which is like more than less than half of what the TATCHA one is. So I'm really pumped to see if this is actually going to be a dupe. I have obviously never tried this, so we're going to test it out today on camera and see how it wears throughout the day, and we'll see if this is really a good $8 dupe. Let me know if you guys have tried this primer or the TATCHA one down below. Like I mentioned, it works really well with my combo skin, but I'm curious to see how it works for people who have super oily skin or super dry skin, so let me know in the comments. So as always, don't forget to grab a snack, and without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so let's start off with the claims on the e.l.f. Putty Primer. So it says, this perfecting putty primer smooths the skin and preps it to help moisturize and grip makeup for all day wear, has a velvety texture that glides over the skin, smoothing over imperfections for a poreless effect. It says apply a thin, even amount to moisturize skin prior to makeup and allow to set for 30 seconds before applying foundation, which is pretty much what the TATCHA one is. I'm going to insert the claims of the TATCHA primer now so we can kind of see. My internet is actually down at the moment and I have like no data because I literally used it all up. So I'm going to insert the claims on the TATCHA one right here. But as I mentioned to you guys, the TATCHA one for me just makes my makeup last longer. I don't have to touch up. Every foundation that I use over top of this primer, it looks so good and it wears really beautifully throughout the day. I usually always use my TATCHA primer and then I'll use like a primer water spray over top, and that's just like my favorite combo. So this stuff is like gold to me. I love it. So right now I have no face makeup on. I'm gonna actually put the dimness down so that we can really see my skin for what it is. Ooh, it feels so dark. I don't wanna make it too dark, but I want you guys to see my skin. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply the e.l.f. primer on this side, which is my right side, which is gonna be your left. And then obviously I'm gonna apply the TATCHA one on the other side. Packaging wise, I really like it. It's pretty much just like the TATCHA one. You can see it has like that similar color as well. And those are the two primers side by side. So you can obviously see the TATCHA one is much bigger than the e.l.f. one, but it is much more expensive. So we'll see if it's a dupe. The colors look very, very similar. I'm gonna use what I normally would use for the TATCHA one, which is probably more than what you're supposed to, but this is just what I like to do. So I'm gonna use about that much. I know that this is an excess amount, but I like to use a lot of product when I use this because that's just how it works best for my skin. I feel like go hard or go home, right? So I'm gonna just apply this everywhere. It feels actually a little bit more like hydrating than the TATCHA one. It absorbs into the skin really nicely. I'm gonna really focus the product also on the forehead. That is what it looks like. So let's do the other side, of course. And of course, this side is the TATCHA one. Okay, so initially I feel like the TATCHA one just mattified my skin a little bit more, like it absorbed everything. Whereas the e.l.f. one feels, like I said, a little bit more hydrating. You can kind of just see for yourself. I feel like this side looks a little bit more like hydrated, whereas this one is a little bit more matte. As far as pores, I don't see like a huge difference with like pore filling. I'm sorry I'm all up in your face, but I just really want you guys to see my skin because you guys are my ultimate critics. I don't honestly see a huge difference on both sides, minus the fact that the TATCHA side is a little bit more matte, but other than that, I don't see like a huge difference. I'm gonna be running some errands today, so I'm gonna focus a little bit more primer on my forehead So I'm using more of the TATCHA and the e.l.f. one as well. So what I'm gonna do is just prime my face with my Wet n Wild Cucumber 3-in-1 primer water. I love this stuff. I've been obsessed with it. I'm gonna just spray my entire face because, like I mentioned, I really enjoy this TATCHA primer with a primer water spray with it. I just feel like both of them together work really well. So I'll either use this or my Smashbox primer water. Honestly, I feel like this could be a dupe for it. So I usually let that kind of absorb into my skin for about 20 to 30 seconds or so, and then I apply my foundation. So for foundation today, I'm gonna be using this one from L'Oreal, and I have shade 460. This has been like my go-to. And to blend this out, I'm using my Wet n Wild Beauty Sponge. It looks really good. Like I said, I don't know if I can really tell a huge difference. I mean, I should probably take my earrings off. I think the e.l.f. side looks really, really flawless and like very poreless, which is kind of weird because like when I first used the TATCHA primer, I honestly didn't think anything of it. Like I was like, oh, this just doesn't really look like it did anything for my pores. But then when I applied my foundation over top, I was like, oh, this looks really, really smooth. And that's how I feel with this e.l.f. primer, because it's like, sometimes it's kind of hard to notice if primers are actually filling in your pores, but then when you go over top with foundation is when you can really tell. And to be honest, I feel like both sides look the same. For concealer, I'm gonna use the Revlon Candid concealer. I used this the other day in a video and I really, really liked it. I feel like they both look poreless and the products are sitting really well on the e.l.f. side, which is nice. I'm so excited to see how this is gonna wear throughout the day. All right, so my Pride and Joy is my COLLAB Set the Stage Ultra Fine Loose Setting Powder. And I have this one in the shade Porcelain Ivory. So I like to take my powder and blend it in with my beauty sponge. I need to get actually another one of this powder because I'm running very low. This is the best powder that I ever put on my face. Not even kidding, it's so good. So I'm going to set the rest of my face with a sponge and with the powder. I always do this and it's a game changer. Okay, what do you guys think? I really like the way that it looks. I don't notice, like I mentioned, anything crazy different between the two sides. I really like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just finish up the rest of my face. I really just have to do blush, bronzer, highlight. I'm gonna use the same products that I always use. And also I'm gonna finish up my lower lashes, put on a lip color, and then we'll be right back and we'll chat a little bit. And then I'm gonna wear this throughout the day and we'll see how it looks. But I'm happy right now, so I'll see you guys in 1 second. Okay, so the makeup is complete. I am so happy with the way that everything looks. And by the way, I will leave the makeup details down below in the description box if you guys are interested. I have filmed this look before. It's just like my everyday go-to look. Everything that I told you guys earlier is still true. I don't notice a huge difference between either side. I feel like they both look flawless. All the products went on so nicely over top of the e.l.f. side, and I love the way that it looks. I mean, I don't have any issues. I don't have anything bad to say. I'm really curious to see how this is gonna wear throughout the rest of the day, but of course, I'll let you guys know. So I actually have a lot of things to do. I have to go get my nails done. I gotta go to the bank, just do a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna just go about my day and then I'll check back in with you guys in a few hours and I'll let you know how everything is wearing. So I'll see you soon. All right, guys, I'm back. It is 6:33 p.m. So I've been wearing this makeup for over 6 hours at this point, and this is what my face is looking like. You guys, I am so impressed. Like, my makeup hasn't looked this good in a really long time. Like, I haven't even touched up or anything. Obviously, I touched up my lip color because I ate and I was like running around all day, but I'm so impressed with the e.l.f. primer. Like, it held up my makeup beautifully. My products are still in place. My blush, my bronzer, my concealer, the powder, the foundation, everything is still there. It hasn't moved one bit. And I think what was really helpful for me too is the extra primer that I used on my forehead today made a huge difference because my forehead is not as super oily as it normally would be, especially after 6 hours. So normally 6, 7, 7.5 hours is normally the time where I have to blot my forehead a little bit and just touch up with some powder, but like right now I literally don't need to. It might look a little shiny, but that's from my ring light shining on my face. But when I touch my face, it doesn't even feel oily. It just feels like soft and just very comfortable. Obviously my skin isn't perfect, but I do feel like the primer did a really good job at holding everything together and just making everything look super smooth and seamless on my skin. I love e.l.f. and it's not that I had low hopes for the primer, but I didn't expect it to be this good. So I can definitely vouch and say that this e.l.f. primer is in fact a dupe for the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. I was a little nervous at first because when I first applied the primer, it did feel a little bit more oily versus the Tatcha one. As you saw, it just looked even a little bit more hydrating versus the Tatcha one, which is a little bit more mattifying right off the bat. But after applying everything and just seeing how it wore, I feel like the e.l.f. side looks just as good as the Tatcha side, if not maybe even a little bit better, to be honest. Maybe because my right side's my good side, but I don't notice a huge difference with anything. Oh yeah, also my lash is lifted. Don't mind that. It's been a long day. That's really all I have to say, you guys. I just can't stop staring at my face. I think it looks so good, and I feel like this $8 primer is definitely worth trying. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've tried this e.l.f. primer down below in the comments. If you have the Tatcha one, have you compared the two? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear from you. I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for everything. Please subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in a few days in my next one. Bye!